Alright. In that case, I think we're ready to get things going. Hello everyone, I'm IllegallySam. I'm going to be running Levelhead 100% for you tonight here. And I'm joined by two of my friends here from the community, if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Pierre Nix, aka PK.
Yeah, and I'm Luai. I'm like the 15th most popular creator of all time.
And before we get started here, there was a bid war for the color of GR18, and if I'm not mistaken, Fuchsia won, so that is what we're going to be rolling with for this run today. And also I'm going to be turning on instant buttons, because this will let me restart from checkpoints faster, which will matter on many levels, and then set up the cursor in a specific spot, because there's one text box to clear. But with that, time starts when I enter the first level here, so I think we can get started. So I'll give a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So this here is Levelhead. For anybody who's never seen this game before, it's a 2D platformer maker game. You know, not dissimilar from something like Mario Maker. But, you know, it's a little different in many ways. But the main gimmick you're going to be seeing throughout most of these levels, by most I mean all of them, is the fact that you have this little box here that I'm carrying with me. That is called the package. That is the main gimmick of this game, is that you have to deliver this package to the goal at the end of every single level.
Yes, and a 100% run is vastly different than the any percent run, and I'm always reminded by that immediately, because the any percent run actually uses a pretty big skip. I got really confused for a second why Sam did not take it. He's going to be collecting all the gems. He's going to be doing the levels within a certain time limit. And then he will also be collecting GR17, who's hiding. He's a big blue robot that's hiding. And then there's also the bugs, which are these 4 little pieces. So he's got a lot of things to grab.
Yep. And within each level, he doesn't have to complete each one in one go. He can do the level multiple times to complete it, and I believe there's a few levels where that is key, so to speak.
One of those levels is actually this one right here. Obviously, if I can, it is faster to complete everything in one go, but because one of the requirements for 100% is completing what is called the on-time deliveries, which are essentially just par times on each of these levels, doing those will usually be possible with all of the collectibles, but on some levels there is no possible way to get the collectibles while still finishing under that time limit. And like I mentioned, this is one of those levels, because this time is very short.
Yes, and most of the levels, I think, that are like that kind of stacked up at the beginning, because these levels are so, traditionally easy that they have quite short on-time deliveries.
But
and Sam is well practiced in doing the fastest route as well, so we should see some fun little runs in there too. So for anyone who hasn't actually seen the game before, we did, I was going over what the different collectibles are. The key ones you want to look for, up in the top right corner, you have your gem count. On a level that has the bugs, we'll see one. Up in the middle center, you'll see is it like a scarab, like a beetle, I guess? I never really figured out what it was.
it's a bug.
It's a bug, like a glitch.
Okay, it's a bug.
Yeah.
And so you can look up there for that. And then in between levels, if you look up in the top right, there's a graduation hat and a percentage number behind it. And that's the number Sam is trying to make 100%.
Yeah, we get the game provides a nice handy-dandy little tracker, which, assuming I don't mess anything up, 3 of those numbers will be the same for the entire run, because every level, the 5 stats that are tracked are level completion, on-time delivery, collecting all the gems, and then the GR17s and the bug pieces. And every level has a gem completion bonus, a level completion bonus, and an on-time delivery. So those 3 numbers should theoretically be the same throughout the entire run. Again, assuming I don't mess something up, which, big assumption, but...
Probably has never happened in a run before.
You'd be surprised. It happens more. It's not that it happens often, but it has happened often enough for me to check it more often than I probably need to. Just to double check.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine getting to the end and not having to go backtrack and try to find which level.
Yeah.
Do you have any like percentages you check for on specific levels after you finish them, or like is there like a spot that you're like, okay, double check?
Not specifically. It's like I would have to memorize the exact numbers for some of those spots, and I haven't gotten to the point where it's like I messed it up enough to really need to worry about that. But it's mostly just I make sure I didn't miss any gems by accident, and I just trust that I got everything else until the end of the run. And if I missed anything there, then I go back. But that's really only been a problem like once or twice in terms of anything besides gems.
Why am I just now realizing there's 286 gems in Mad Vac Rat Nest?
This level has one of the highest numbers of gems out of
That's an unreasonable number of gems.
There's a reason why this is one of the 5 levels that is impossible to get everything under the on-time delivery.
You know, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think
there we go. Now the speed.
We've already seen the now he's going to do the speed one, and pretty sure we've already seen one of the things that IllegallySam will be doing to be extra speedy is what we call package tech in the Levelhead community, and that is where you throw a package and you jump off of it. You can also throw the package down and stand on it. There's all sorts of interesting tricks utilizing the package, and you'll be seeing a bunch of them on display, including, I think, one wall super jump.
Cross my fingers about that one. If I don't get it, I don't belabor the point. I move on.
You'll get it.
25, 75 chance.
That's being generous.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
It's basically a trick I only go for because it saves more time than it loses to go for. But I have gotten it like twice during a run so far.
Ooh, that was a nice little throw there.
The package also breaks these brittle rocks. These are the tiles that are gray. They look like rocks, and then they break when you throw the package at them, which is what makes them brittle. There's some pretty fun stuff you can do with them.
In true marathon fashion, by the way, I just did something that I've never done before. I just completely yeeted the package off the side of the map, and I did not mean to do that.
Well, what I think is happening here is that there's actually we have a nice dedicated small community, and it's quite a nice community. And one of the things going on tonight is there's actually a community member named Duckbag. He's actually doing a Levelhead stream as we speak, a garbage day, and he's actually world famous for what we call yeeting the package off the cliff at the end of the level. So it's a nice tribute that you just gave to him, Sam.
Also,
beautiful.
As a true tribute to Duckbag, something else he's known for in the community is something called a min dunk, which is as you can see, like with the goal at the end there, those little dots that pop up above it. Those dots like correspond to how many points you get when you dunk the package into the goal, because like most delivery services, the higher up you are when you deliver the package, the further you dunk it, the better you do at your job. So what that means for us is the higher up you are, the more points you get, but the longer that animation takes. And so any level where it doesn't take too long to drop down to the bottom of the goal, it is faster to do so, because this animation, when it's played in full, like from the maximum dunk height, it's about a full second long. And the animation when you play it from the bottom is like a quarter of a second. So it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, you've actually got some pretty interesting little tricks to make it happen in some of the levels too. So I'm excited to see some of those, because they always catch me a little off guard.
Because if you don't know what I'm doing, it looks like I'm just wasting time, but it is actually But something else to mention is, while that handy-dandy tracker shows almost everything you need for 100%, also
Greetings,
contained on the
I
map
didn't
are
care if you
these
saw that anyway.
cutscene nodes and the nodes called vendors. What those two things are is they're just part of the campaign. The cutscenes are very entertaining introductions to like a lot of the game's mechanics and such, while the vendors give you icons, which are for your profile and any user levels that you make. So we do need to collect all of both of those. All of the cutscenes are just on the basic path. We don't have to go out our way for them, but some of the vendors are a bit out of the way. So anytime you see me doing a vendor, you might also hear me button mashing to get through them as quickly as possible.
You just did an interesting little time save there. GR17 does not require you to finish the level. You can get him and then immediately go to a checkpoint, and you still get the status of getting him there, right? So it looks like you got him and then quickly reset back to the checkpoint, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's more than a few levels where that is the fastest way to get it because the GR17 is so far out of the way. And this is one of the... And
It is nice that you don't even have to finish the animation as well.
because something else worth mentioning about GR17s that you might have noticed if you were very observant, but it's hard to pick up on. As part of the animation of the GR17 being freed, there's like a small half-second slowdown that activates when he like launches up out of its hiding spot. And as a result of that, everything slows down for about half a second. And so, you know, if you're in the middle of dodging an obstacle or like trying to do a special trick or something, and the game just slows down out of nowhere, you're probably going to mess it up, or you might die. And so, as a result, I will often just wait out that animation and then do whatever I'm trying to do afterwards, because it is way safer. I have lost a lot of time to not being prepared for those and just getting killed immediately because I forgot that was a thing.
It should be noted that a lot of the gems are right out there in the open, but some of them are invisible, some of them are hidden in enclosures. Same with these bug packages. GRA17 in particular is very well hidden most of the time. In fact, I had to look up a couple on the casual playthrough.
Same here. You're not the only one. Don't worry, Levi.
Yes, I still don't know where they are. So the fact that Sam knows where all these things are is actually pretty impressive. His memory is better than my memory.
This level right here is an important one that showcases why I reset the GR17s. Because this level, the on-time delivery on this level is very tight. And the only way to get the GR17 and still finish within the on-time delivery is to reset from this checkpoint right after collecting him. I might miss it because of the death. It's going to be close. Alright, I cut it a little too close there. I was trying to save a tiny bit of time. Because I can afford one death on this level and still get the on-time delivery, but I can't afford two. So I'm going to have to play through this one again, unfortunately. But that's fine.
This level, there are actually quite a few cycle-based levels, including these fire bars that you see here. Classic hazard, swinging fire bars, rotating fire bars, but there are quite a lot of cycle-based levels, and to the casual player or someone trying to learn the speedrun, some of these cycles can be very frustrating. Sometimes Sam makes them look very free and easy. I can promise you they are not.
Alright, now we get to...
Yeah, the other thing Sam makes looks... Oops, sorry, go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say, this level introduces the quote-unquote best enemy in the game, and by that I mean it's my least favorite enemy.
I'm always surprised that Blackjack is your least favorite out of all of them.
It
doesn't even have iframe, Sam.
It's not surprising when you remember some of the scenarios you have to beat them in during some of these levels.
Yeah,
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken,
I'll give you that.
they're one of the more random enemies at the end of the day too, because of their jump height pattern.
Because while they don't have iframes at any point, that doesn't mean a lot when they just jump up into you while you're still bouncing off of them, and you didn't bounce high enough, they just hit you instantly.
I didn't care.
Or there are some enclosed spaces, and when they jump you into the ceiling, I know I've died quite a few times that way.
In addition, the biggest ones outpace your normal walking speed, and so if you don't have sprint when you're trying to kill the biggest size of them, then you lose if you're trying to fight them, basically.
But they do drop the best item in the game, so we can forgive them.
So small little time save there. We'll talk about the power-up in a second, but the power-ups in this game, when you collect them, they have a short, like, 1-second animation that plays. And so if you can ever skip a power-up, you save a second per power-up, essentially. And by dodging the checkpoint on the first go-around there and then picking it up the second time around, I didn't have to pick up the power-up a second time. And so I was able to save a second with that animation. But you're probably
I
wondering,
have to watch the animation.
why am I green? Didn't the bid war pick fuchsia? What's going on here? This is the first power-up you'll be seeing in this run. This is the tiptoe. And,
The tiptoe is a fan favorite for sure. It gives GR18 the power to wall jump, to cling to ceilings, and then to also bush and be able to pass through enemies. It's very fun power-up, very movement-oriented power-up. In fact, most of the power-ups are movement-oriented. But
I think that's one of the
here we go.
interesting design decisions of the game is that all the power-ups provide movement opportunities, even if they have a little bit different flavors. But yeah, I definitely agree. The tiptoe is one of the most movement-oriented ones.
You gotta love the flapjack who just inserted himself in your path there.
oh yeah, that one's a lot of fun when he does that. Just a free, like, 3 or 4 seconds of time loss because he decided to get in the way.
He just wanted to join the fun. Oh man.
One of the things you make look so easy, Sam, is the keeping and maintaining run speed, especially with tiptoe. To maintain run speed, you got to run. Is it 7 tiles? I always forget, 7.5 or something like that tiles. And
I forget, but let's just say you're right because I'm pretty sure you are.
yeah, and then you gotta, if you're jumping with to maintain sprint or turning around, you gotta jump in the air. So it's pretty challenging to maintain it. And then on top of that, with the tiptoe, if you wall climb, you lose it as well. So you can see Sam navigate some pretty tricky spots without losing that run sprint.
Actually comes up very importantly. Well, maybe not in the 100%, but there is a level you have to maintain sprint with the tiptoe to make a cycle, and it's intense. I don't think I've ever done it. But yeah, the sprint is very different than, let's say, many other platformer games where you would just click a button and you would start running a little faster. Here in Levelhead, it's all based
Giving
on
training
the
seminars,
distance you
you're
travel to get
real-
sprint, and then like PK said, you have to keep holding a direction always. So if you're trying to go straight down, you're going to see GR18. He does a little dance in the air, and it's real fun to watch.
And it's sprint, as the name implies, you run faster when you have it, but that is not the only thing it affects. As a part of the properties of sprint, you also jump an extra tile. And so there's a lot of levels where, like, yeah, having sprint makes you go faster, but the more important thing is that you're able to take a different path through the level by using that extra tile of jump height.
Yes, absolutely. And then one other thing to mention here in Blopfush Trap, you may have noticed that he does not play the level forward and back the intended way, because there's something, the level boundaries are actually just more suggestions than anything else. He just drops down straight to the package there.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it again right there.
So basically, as long as you're within the confines of like a tile or two of the level borders, you're safe and you're not ever going to have an issue, because you're allowed to go off screen slightly. And so that is true for both the sides and the top of the map. You might have noticed it a few other times so far with the top, but that was like the first really obvious example.
And it's also true for like a couple pixels on the bottom of the map, which I'm sure you're going to nail that skip.
The funny thing is, ideally, I don't actually ever have to attempt that skip because it's only an 8% skip.
Oh my god.
But
I should probably learn these runs.
But the thing is, if that level goes abysmally for whatever reason, while I'm trying to get all the collectibles, then I will have to attempt it.
Yeah.
It's just such a
Also,
swag skip.
I want to mention a cool thing there is that the package is used as a shield like extensively throughout that level. So you can throw the package in front of you and it blocks quite a few of the projectiles in the game.
This might get close.
So Levelhead has quite the number of different hazards here. I believe this is the first time we're seeing the cannons. There are these steel bullets that you can jump off of. They can also shoot fire. Later you'll see homing missiles in the run, and even some exploding rockets. So lots of versatile hazards to be used in the different levels.
Yeah, and as a result of these being early cannon levels, they're also really frustrating to get in one try, as you saw, because I did not get either of those two levels in one try. Because they're very...
I mean, there's only like 6 to 8 bullets on screen at once. That's no problem. It's no problem.
Yeah, the issue is it's like, because they're so short, there's basically no room for mistakes if you want the on-time delivery while still getting all the collectibles. And so if you make a single mistake, you basically have to do the level a second time.
At least you get a hold right level.
So on this level here, Sam's basically baiting the Vacrat to press a bunch of switches below, which opens up various things for Sam.
And also another perfect example of a level where resetting from a checkpoint makes getting the GR17 not a complete fight. Because if I had to actually go ahead and finish the level immediately after collecting it, I would have had to run all the way back to the right. But thankfully I can just reset from the checkpoint.
Yeah, that's a full level size walk there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you called this a hold right level, now I get to do it as a hold right level with the 80% run of it.
Yeah. I always forget. Yeah, you have to actually collect things. Which, you know, collecting things above the sky wigglers with the hazards on top of them is one of the more fun things you can do in Levelhead.
Fun is definitely a word for it, yes. Now we have sproing time. Yeah, this level is...
Have we talked about sproings? I mean, if you don't know, sproing is spring with an extra O.
Yeah, we'll say a lot of names here that sound like we're saying something slightly wrong, but it's the name of the item. We promise you.
Okay. Yeah, it's like if you ever hear us talk about burning whirlers, don't worry, those are fire bars. If you ever hear us talk about sky wigglers, don't worry, they're just the little fans that are on the ground. Stuff like that. We're not going crazy or anything.
And the community also has a bad habit of then renaming the items even, so it could get even more confusing at some point.
Because even the items that don't have weird names, we give them weird names, and then forget that they don't actually have weird names. Like the spinning platforms, they're pretty much just like spinning platforms.
Spinny Winnies.
Yep.
They're spinny winnies.
They're Spinny Winnies. It rhymes.
Isn't that their official name? That's their official name.
That is not their official
It's like
name.
spinning platform. It's not.
I've been lied to.
Yeah, this level is a difficult one to get the on-time delivery on. It's still very possible, but there's just so many spots for you to mess up that it's difficult to get without a ton of mistakes. There's like 10 seconds leeway or so on this level, so it's not like it's impossible or anything. But it's, like I said, not easy. And I do miss this level's on-time delivery by like 2 to 5 seconds most of the time. Which is unfortunate.
I guess there's some context to all the on-time deliveries set, like the timestamps, can be done without any elite tech, so no package jumps or anything either. So just give some context of like, I guess that's where you're buying some of your time, right?
Yeah, and there's I 100%ed this game casually before even knowing what a super jump was, or any other package tech or anything like that, so it's very possible for you to do everything in this casually. It's just not everything that I'm doing necessarily. But fun fact about this level In my first 100% run, where I did 0 preparation and winged it and had to remember where every GR17 was during the run, because I thought that would be funnier. This was the one level where I could not find the GR17.
I mean, he's just behind the green stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's like none of it on the stage. It shouldn't be too hard to find.
The Levelhead editor is very robust. One of the things you can do, though, that is maybe not the most robust, is include enclosures, which are these tiles that are actually not tiles, but they're basically fake here. And they're not necessarily conducive to fun level experiences all the time.
If you design a level well, they can be fun, because, you know, you lead them on. It's your typical, like, touch all the walls to find the secrets. But if people want to be annoying with it, then it literally turns into you have to hug every single wall in order to find what you're looking for, because they do not indicate it. But thankfully the campaign is very good about things, and that is really
Very good, yes.
There we go. So that's the 21% mark.
If you're curious, the lowest amount of percent you need to finish the campaign is 19%. If you include the credits, it's 18% if you don't.
Oh.
So you've basically been in the game,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Same thing. Yeah, if you're curious.
This Temple Gauntlet, this is a great level. Again, another level that's very different in any percent run, because you can just skip vast sections of this level. Because here you have to, well, here we have to collect all the gems, come and get this box, but you can just use a scrub shell in the any percent run. It acts the same as a box, so you can just skip the entire section of level. There's other skips in this level. So this is a very fun level, I think, to learn to speedrun.
Yeah, this is like a good example of a longer level that like requires doing a lot of things in order to get the optimal route, but none of it is particularly difficult on its own. Like
you know what?
doing
You
that
already
level
know. Don't worry.
optimally doesn't even really require elite tech or anything like that. It just requires a bunch of small optimizations and some tricks that require knowledge. Now we have a level that, if I die once at the wrong time, I am going to have to play the level a second time. This level gets pretty annoying at times.
Basically a Kaizo level.
Yeah, I mean, every level
Yeah.
is a Kaizo level here, if you die enough on it, right? That's how it works.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I guess at this level here, you got the Oculus, and when there's the bigger versions, every time he blows one up, it turns into a smaller version. So he just has to like blow it up so it continues to fall through there. And then they also give that shell, which, as you can see, Sam's doing lots of crazy tech with, and they can also kill enemies, which he just cleared the entire room with. I think they're probably one of the most fun items in the game.
They're very fun. Again, very movement-oriented item. You can also do shell jumps off of walls if you are into those kind of things.
Yeah, if you were watching very
Lifting
closely, you might have
cloaks in
noticed
training
we're doing
seminars,
shell
you're
jumps
a
earlier
real
in the
go-getter.
run. But there will be at least one more shell jump in case you did. It'll be at the very end of the run, so you're not going to see it anytime soon. But one of those things you might have noticed I was doing with those shells is I was just like throwing them down and riding across the spikes without actually touching them. That's because I was doing something called item hopping. Basically, when you throw an object down in this game, it gives you a tiny bit of height. And as part of that, you can just, if the object moves with you, are you kidding me? I missed it by 1/100th of a second.
26.501.
Alright.
Wow.
Yeah, that happens occasionally. It's frustrating. I was just having a conversation in the Discord the other day about how like people were getting the on-time deliveries with like dead on, like getting the exact time. And I was just like, yeah, I've never done that during a 100% run, but I have missed it by 100th of a second many times.
It's just rounded up a little bit just to make everyone play longer.
But what I was saying before that is item hopping, as a result of being able to throw an object down and getting a little bit of height, by just constantly re-grabbing that item, you're able to essentially just never touch the ground when you have an item like that, and you're able to just constantly item hop in order to stay alive on those kinds of surfaces. And it's also important to note that, like, on some levels, just that extra height that you get from the, sorry, I messed that up too many times. But the base height you get from throwing it down, that's also important to get around certain ledges and make certain jumps that you couldn't make otherwise. That was the level before this is the level that was supposed to be built to like show that off, but you technically don't really need to do it outside of like the very beginning if you have sprint, because that level does not intend for you to have sprint, which is where that extra title jump height comes in handy.
Did you just do a restart because the lineup on that?
I had to restart because I died twice, and the on-time delivery on this level doesn't have that much leeway.
Right, because it's basically an auto-scroller.
Yeah, especially for the any percent
Or
run,
100%.
a lot of skips. Do not
Yeah,
have to
the
play
any percent run, you just yeet yourself across half the stage. It's a lot of fun. Makes the level a lot more fun.
All right,
Um,
you get to see 2 levels that I missed by 1 level.
I like how it shows like white at the very top, which indicates that you've had the on-time delivery time, even as you're going through the dunk sequence.
Yeah, so basically,
Just to rub it in.
I think if you were to slow it down frame by frame, the very last frame of the level, you'd see it turn to red. But obviously, I can't tell that until I finish the level. Because that is essentially, I missed the on-time delivery by 1 frame on those levels. Yeah. That one level with all the fire, that level is a level where, like, missing the on-time delivery, it doesn't happen often, but it happens often enough that, like, it's not that crazy. So, like, I'm not too surprised about that one, unfortunately.
very short level again. These shorter levels have less leeway for any mistakes.
Yeah. And also, a fun little thing that is not well known. If the last thing you do to unlock one of those vendors is collect the GR17, which is required for some of them, and you had already completed all of the other requirements on a separate run of the level, such that if you collect the GR17 and then quit the level, you will be able to unlock that vendor without the animation button on the map.
Specifically if you do GR17.
Yes, that is the only
That's kinda
way
cool.
that works. And that doesn't come up.
I feel like we have to mention here that Swoopadoop Gulch, I believe this is the first time we meet the Swoopadoop. Another fan favorite enemy. This enemy does have iframes, so definitely worthy of some love. The little bird spins and it'll dive at you, and it can be very dangerous to deal with.
This level.
I always get my heart starts palpitating anytime your run hits this level, Sam.
Oh yeah, this level is not.
I don't know why that would be.
This guy doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. Yeah, ideally, he would have just flown straight into one of those fireballs, because those green fires, those damage enemies and instantly kill them, while red fires don't.
Yeah, it looks like he was dodging anywhere but into that cannon this time.
I undershot that jump a little. Alright, I'm gonna probably... It won't pay off, but it's not like so risky that it's not worth going for. This is a level where it's not possible to get the GR17 while collecting every other collectible, but it is possible to get every collectible while still getting the on-time delivery. So I'm gonna try and do things a little fancy. By losing sprint there, I probably won't get it. But if I can finish this level in under the on-time delivery, I only need to go back to GR17. I don't need to play it a second time. But if I do miss the on-time delivery, then I will still have to play it a second time.
Yeah, it looks like he lost a little bit of sprint speed on one section there, so
Yeah, it's gonna be
close, I think.
It is possible this last part there's just so many swoops at the end that it sometimes doesn't want to cooperate. Now I can just go get the GR17 and quit out of the level immediately.
It should be said that part of the reason you were able to complete the level is there's an item called the armor plate. There's red and blue versions. We won't get into that too much, but you will be utilizing the armor plate a couple times. It lets you soak up a hit. It also, when you get hit, you actually get shot. You get some momentum from the hit as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, and I think you utilize that in some places.
It's more of a double-edged shield,
as a
if you will.
I don't. Crypto the Watcher. This is a. I think unironically, this is one of the this is actually a fan favorite level. It's just such a good. It's like a nice dungeon level. It's all these sections.
It's the obligatory quote-unquote Zelda level. Like you're going traversing room to room, trying to, complete all the mini challenges, complete the puzzles, get the keys, all that good stuff.
Fun level.
It also comes with some pretty fun skips too. Maybe not as much for the 80% run, but
so this is definitely one. Like you skip entire sections on the 80% run.
Yeah, in the 80% run, I'd already be done the level.
That's why they call it 80%.
Exactly.
See, what is this animation? I don't even get to see this animation in an 80% run.
Yeah, as part of the 80% run, like I mentioned how you can get extra height from putting stuff down. One of the utilities of that is you can go around corners while clinging to the ceiling with tiptoe. And so you can go up into that area at the top with all the colored blocks. You can just get into that area way quicker than you're supposed to by doing that.
And again, the end of this level usually involves using the armor to just throw yourself into the goal here.
Yeah. And it looks like you're gonna get a full single pass on this one. There we go.
Yeah, that one is one that you'd think would be a lot less lenient than it actually is, but there's more than 10 seconds of leeway even on a run that's just okay. Thankfully. Having to do that level twice is a huge time loss because it's so long.
Yeah, about a minute 30.
Yeah.
I was a little too confident in my timing there. I shouldn't have been.
Yeah, so this one's got a bit of I know if you have your cycle right, you get used to it, but this one does feel like it has a little bit of YOLO, a little bit of randomness, a little prey tech, if you will.
Yeah, it's a little harder on 100%, but once you know what you're doing, it's not that bad.
So I still am not 100% sure when you need to go past that whiz blade. In the middle section, it's just it seems like anytime I want to go in the blaster, it's going to shoot me straight into the whiz blade. That can't be true. I just got to be bad at the game.
Yeah, there's also something kind of cool that you did there. You did a really nice weave to grab some coins and a bug piece. And I think it's probably worth noting that Sam doesn't have to touch exactly every single gem. They do have a little bit of leeway, and they magnetize, so to speak, and will come to GR18. So you see in a few spots Sam utilizing that. Just a little hard to see now. There's not catching them, but
I'm gonna have to do this level another time because my timing was off since I had to restart from the checkpoint.
It's that whiz blade, man. I'm telling you.
Normally for the 80%. Okay. Normally for the 80% run on this, it's this level's actually relatively free 80% because outside of that death right there, because I didn't stall for a third of a second like I was supposed to, this level, once you know the exact route you're supposed to take, this level's not that bad.
Right. Something that I don't think we've mentioned, when he has sprint, he's able to skip an entire section because he's actually just fast enough to fall down to a bumper to the right. And it's not trivial keeping sprint in this section with the
I haven't done that before.
Cannons. So
The one thing to note about that skip he's talking about specifically.
It's alright. I just saw what you found. I'm sorry, Sam.
But for this skip right here specifically, if I were to... One of the things you can do is you can buffer a fall. Yeah, I don't have this much trouble doing this level during any percent normally. I don't know what's going on. But you can buffer a fall on these kinds of fall-through ledges, such that when you hold down while you're on the ground, you can essentially fall through them early.
Yes, actually, I forget. It was some stream recently. It might have been a Flow Art stream. Shout out to another big member of the community. But he sat down and he explained all the different ways that these fall through ledges work. It actually is. There's some little nuances to it. Like, you can't jump, but if you run off the ledge like he is doing here, exactly like Sam is saying, you're gonna fall through the ledge immediately. Whereas there's usually there is a good second delay on that, so it can be a great time save if you do it right.
Yeah, but what it's important about that is that one specific ledge where you have sprint, you actually need to land on it in order to do the skip we were talking about. Because if you don't, you fall too fast and you don't reach the blaster. While landing on it resets your vertical speed, so you were able to.
Even more nuanced than I believed.
Alright, thankfully we finally got out of the level. I don't know why that's causing me so much trouble, but...
There was a lot to talk about in that level.
Yeah,
I think as I said...
I was just giving this time.
Yeah, it's not probably the most cycle-based level as well.
Quotes around yes.
It's pretty close. It's got to be up there.
It's up there, but I wouldn't say it's the level most well known for cycles. Alright, I'm gonna have to play the level a second time because I accidentally missed a bug piece.
These are called blasters. People always confuse blasters with the cannons. The cannons shoot projectiles at you. The blasters turn GR18 into a projectile. These gray ones shoot you immediately after... Well, I say immediately. There's some sort of set time duration, depending on, what the level creator wants. And the little brown ones, you gotta hit jump to get shot out of them. So, turns it into a fun timing challenge. They are called blasters officially, but they are also affectionately called DK barrels for obvious reasons. Well, if you play DK.
Yeah.
Maybe we should rename them to PK barrels.
I don't think I use them enough for that.
We'll just call bumpers PK barrels.
Yeah, there you go. That's more like it. Discount barrels.
This level here, a wild tunnel, which, if I remember correctly, there's something important about the 100% run and getting things in a timely fashion where you don't have to do this, but this is the first instance of the goo, I believe, which acts a lot like ice. It's slippery. I mean, come on.
I think it's fair to say it. It's ice.
It's goo. Ice acts like goo acts. Okay, slippery.
But yeah, because
and then a second one for the
is not my favorite, if you can believe it.
I don't.
It is. Me not liking this level is only partially actually because of the goo part. It is actually just the structure of the level itself being frustrating. As you can see,
is it that first tunnel with the bug piece that's extra frustrating, or
it's a lot of things. So because of the checkpoint structure of this level as well, you have to basically do almost the entire thing in one shot, and you can't die. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do basically the entire thing. Because that checkpoint at the front of that little side tunnel, I don't know why it's there. It's basically useless. It's literally only there so you don't have to replay the first 2 seconds of the level. And because it's not...
Trust me, on my casual playthrough, I was very grateful for that checkpoint.
But because it's not reusable, if you make it through that tunnel and then die somewhere else in the level, you have to go through the tunnel a second time. Which is why...
That must be horrible for anyone who's experienced that.
Yeah, it might have even happened during this run already earlier. Which is why I wanted to talk about it. But this level is unironically like one of my favorite levels. For one very
See why
specific...
with a sprint ceiling super jump. It's not for that super jump though, is it?
No, I didn't get it because it's very tricky and it's also arguably not even important. It doesn't really save much time. But you can super jump out of any kind of thing that gives you height. And that includes blasters. And so if a blaster shoots you straight up, if you're able to time your package throw very precisely so that when you're falling back down you land on the package, because blasters restrict your movement until you land on the ground,
You're making
skipping
training seminars.
faster,
You're a real
as well as the
go-getter.
fact that you are able to jump off the package itself, gaining height. And so that one corridor at the end there, because that blaster shoots you straight up, it's possible to do a blaster super jump there, and you're able to regain movement sooner than you would be able to otherwise, which saves a tiny bit of time. And I think blaster super jump...
That's it. Yeah, so that's probably
yeah.
more benefits grinding with the IL, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's something that, like, if you get it during the full run of the campaign, it's like, cool, you save like a third of a second. It's not that big of a deal. But if you're able to get it during an IL, then it matters a lot more.
IL short for
I love
for what exactly?
Individual level.
Yeah, there's actually scoreboards, you know, you can run each individual level. Sam is actually one of the guys who's been responsible for getting a lot of these aisles down to pretty impressive times. Shout out to Intuition, and then Ben XL has also done some work, I believe, on a few of them. I'm sure I'm missing other people, but
those are the ones that have probably submitted the most runs overall.
yeah, they're the ones I remember for it.
I guess this is the intro to the zipper, right?
Zipper.
It's a power-up that allows you to teleport 3 spaces, and that includes through walls. I think it's I don't know, they're all pretty fan favorites, so it's hard to say which one it is. But yeah, it opens up a lot of options for routing, because you not only get distance, you gain a little bit of I guess you skip a little bit of space, so you gain some speed. I feel like that lets you do something else too. Okay, you get a little more distance for a long jump, for the long jump.
But it also lets you break levels, because the level doesn't restrict you from going through specific walls. All of a sudden, you can just skip large chunks of levels.
So if you want your level to get torn apart by players, you're just gonna throw a zipper in there, and your level will not be played as you intended it. Which is probably why it's a fan favorite over here.
Yeah, it does make you feel pretty powerful. It is
unfortunate that in the 100% run, I mean, it does break the levels, but it doesn't break them as badly as in the any percent run. There are just some huge skips with this.
There's still one level where we can basically just ignore the entire central gimmick of the level, thankfully, so we'll get to show it off at least once.
Of course, there's gems just hidden in the wall there.
Yeah, this level's a little egregious in some gems. It's like, oh yeah, there's just a hidden wall here that has a switch that turns on a key, and you need that key to open the door to get to the gems, instead of just putting the gems in the hidden spot in the first place.
I'm getting level ideas already.
And then one little safety bounce on the Lazubi there.
The package, the package is just such a great item. It's one of the reasons I love Levelhead. You can throw it around, jump on it, save yourself from projectiles with it, and you can even boop enemies away from you. It's such a great movement-based, and it's just amazing little item there. I love the package.
Alright,
I love packages.
This is the level where who I was alluding to earlier, where sprint maintenance is very important. Because
Yes.
I still do get sprint here, but I don't have to maintain it the entire level like I would normally or something. Because you see this little platform that we're taking with us through the level. There's actually a second platform that's like way further ahead in the level, and in this section right here, if you have sprint and maintain it through that earlier section, you can just barely make it to that platform in time, and just skip a whole chunk of that section, as opposed to the other methods of making it through there, which saves a bunch of time. And that platform that is like hidden way off screen normally, you're not supposed to ever be able to reach it during like a normal playthrough. But by going fast, you're able to get to it, and it's very useful.
Literally a mystery dev platform. It has no business being in the level played normally.
Oops, I forgot the box.
It blew my mind. I thought IllegallySam hacked the game the first time I saw him catch that platform. I said, where did this platform come from? I have never seen this platform. It's because I'm slow.
That's a shame. That's a bad death. Should be fine, but...
No.
Yeah,
A couple times
level's-
during this run, I've wanted to talk about paths, and this Ride and Roar seems like a good time to talk about it, I guess, because it's showcasing these fly blocks on paths. Levelhead has, tiles and enemies and hazards. One of the things it also has is paths. You can put items on it. You can make items move on it. There's a channel system. You see him switching these paths on and off. It's just, you can be very decorative. Say, if you want wiggly vines throughout your entire level, you can do that as well. I love the Lizumi.
Yeah, that's a great strategy for dealing with the enemies there.
But yeah, paths are yet another reason why this game is such a great game to play and build levels.
And it's worth mentioning, the reason why that trick with like bouncing the enemies out of the arena works is because there's two ways that this game tracks if you've like dealt with an enemy. Is one of the ways it deals with it, or it can tell, is if like it just tracks the number of enemies you've killed in the level. And the other way it tracks it is if a different kind of switch keeps track of, is the enemy still in this area of the level? And on that level, all it was checking is, are there enemies in this zone, rather than, are these enemies alive? And so by just launching them out of that little arena, they just continue on their way. You don't have to worry about it.
Letting the Lizumi remove himself from that area.
Yeah, Sam's taking the peaceful option on this.
Well, I believe the Lizumi launched itself into the void, so I don't know how peaceful that is, but definitely stylish.
Is a peaceful run possible in this game?
Somebody has
We don't
gone...
talk about it.
People have like messed around with the idea of it before, but there are multiple levels that have required kills, and so it's not possible.
A full pacifism run is not possible, and I think only I don't know what Mage Orb is calling himself nowadays, but only the Mage Orb was really, I think, exploring it recently. I think some other people have explored it in the past. He's the latest. And I believe that he was driving himself to the point of insanity with the run. Because it's very hard to avoid these enemies,
And we mentioned cycle-based levels earlier. If you think like just cycle-based obstacles are bad, try cycle-based collectibles.
Right, yeah, you get those gems disappearing and reappearing every moment, so it's really easy. It's really easy to look like you picked it up when you didn't at all.
Exactly. Sometimes you just have to sit there and wait just to double check. But yeah, that level, I hate that level in any percent, and in 100% it's just that but worse. Because it's very easy to lose a lot of time on that level, depending on how the cycles line up. But thankfully it got through it without too much trouble.
Yeah, that was a single pass clear, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Very good.
That is not a level where I get that every time, so I'm happy.
Dangerous Friend is one of my favorite levels. There's just something very iconic about taking this Lizumi through the whole level with you.
For such a short level, this has a lot of leeway. It's just I died like 3 or 4 times, so not ideal.
It should be mentioned, I don't know if we even talked about, the Lizumis are these little wheel guys. Another Levelhead enemy that has iframes, because everyone likes enemies with iframes. And in fact, Lizumis only really can be damaged after, changing, falling off a platform or running into a wall. And there is not a wall except at the end of that level, so like that level tells you he's your friend the entire level. You're going to bring him with you.
You can actually cheese it, technically, because since there's a checkpoint, you have iframes after the checkpoint, and therefore, if he's right next to the checkpoint, you can actually kill him after respawning. But as your friend, I don't know why you would want to do that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine why you would want to do that. Breaks the spirit of the level.
There's a...
Doom Dream, I know, is a favorite of yours because it's an auto-scroll. And speedrunners love auto-scrollers.
It is one of 2.5 auto-scrollers in the run.
This or Quickfire, I imagine, which one is more annoying?
In terms of actual, doing well on it in one go, Quickfire is a lot harder, but making a single mistake on this level is way worse.
It is longer level, yes.
Yeah, this level doesn't have any leeway in terms of, if you mess up, you're not going to get victory.
It's looking like a pretty smooth run so far, so...
Oh, yeah.
It's
I feel like there's actually not tons of stuff in this one.
Yeah, it's relatively tame. It's not a level I die on very often, but if I do die on it, I can lose up to a point, basically. Because, in any percent run of that level, even the best time anybody's ever got is still only, 6 seconds in front of the on-time delivery. Something like that. So, imagine you don't have much leeway if you do make any mistakes.
Right, it's basically on-time delivery is basically a deathless run of that level,
yeah, exactly.
Essentially, so...
Is this the first time bombs show up in the campaign?
I believe so, yeah.
I'm trying to think. There are bombs in Levelhead. They do pretty much what you'd think they would do, but plus they throw you around everywhere, so... again, more movement. Very fun item to move around with.
Yeah, explosions...
Chi displayed.
Explosions in this game give you a ton of momentum. A lot of stuff in this game gives you momentum, obviously, but explosions are one of the things that give you the most momentum. And so there's a lot of levels where, by leveraging those explosions, you can cross large distances very quickly. But it's very unwieldy if you're not careful.
What he's saying is it's very fun.
When it goes well.
Yeah. Oh, the classic Crumbler bullet hell right there.
Yeah, the ending of that level, it's really not bad in any percent run because of that one bug piece. It becomes a lot harder when you're trying to do a 100% run.
Crumblers are amazing. You can throw your package at them and do a super jump off the Crumbler, and it's the best thing that has ever existed in any game ever.
So
Sam, looks like you missed a bug piece there.
Yeah, that is what I think. That is the hardest, either the hardest or the second hardest, depending on who you ask. Bug piece to get during the same run as every other level.
It's because of the gems,
yeah,
right?
It's on the same pathway as those gems that are there. You essentially have to get one or the other unless you do very specific movement that allows you to just barely magnetize the gems while you're collecting your bug piece. Because the bug pieces don't have the same magnetism that the gems do.
But you did get to showcase the armor plate squeezing through the crumbler, a strategy there again.
Yeah, the 80% run on this level is also very, very cycle-based, and it's not the fun kind of cycle-based. But if you're able to pull it off, has a very satisfying element to it because of like the armor and doing boosts with it and stuff. But like I said, it's cycle-based and it's not the best cycle-based level in the world or anything. So this is a level where I sometimes just barely go over the. Okay, I had enough leeway. I have missed that one by 100th of a second as well in the past.
Never mind, I'll just send you an email about it.
But thankfully, I did.
Yeah, that looks like. No, in tons of time, 0.14 seconds. And that's the 50% mark right there, too. We're halfway there, Sam. Halfway.
And it's funny because this level right here, unusual time, is the level I also call the 50% mark, even though it's like without looking at percentages or anything. This is just the level I say is, oh, we're halfway through the run after this level. Because there's 4 biomes in this game, and the game does kind of split the campaign up into those 4 biomes, which are like the different backgrounds you can see in the levels.
Right, and this is the last of the Kistian Ruins, which is this desert-like biome.
Exactly.
Why are you avoiding those purple drinks? They look tasty.
It's because I'm not thirsty. I already had some water for the run.
To anyone who doesn't know, they also they're helpful. They slow down time to like 60% game speed or something. Both you and just everything else in the game. But they make the fights a little bit easier, more manageable. But you know, we're not worried about that. We want to go fast.
Yeah, we're trying to save time, not extend it here.
Exactly. And so any opportunity I have to avoid those, I will be avoiding them. There are like a couple specific spots where the game forces you to grab one, and you'll see just how slow things can get. Or if I mess up and grab them by accident, which happens more often than I'd like.
Very noticeable.
Yeah, it's not something that you'll miss by blinking or something. You'll. But before I entered this level here, something you might have noticed is you might have noticed that I opened the pause menu or the settings menu. That was not an accident. That was intentional. The reason for that is I did something that I call a map warp. So as you notice, there's like the little animation with the spaceship going between all the different planets and everything as you travel from level to level. And some of those distances are very large. Like if you notice that distance between the level I just did and the one before it is very, very long. And so what opening the settings menu does is it will place you immediately on the next tile that you're moving towards, even if you're not there yet. And so it cancels that animation. And so on a couple specific areas in the map where it takes like 2 or 3 seconds to travel to the next level, it is faster to open the settings menu and close it than it is to use that animation. And so you can save about 1 to 2 seconds each time that comes up, and it comes up I think 3 times total.
Free time save.
Exactly. It's a free 4 or 5 seconds if you're able to do it quickly. And if you're not able to do it quickly, it's still like a free 2 seconds, because it's really easy to do.
He just breezed right past the level with all the pop jaws. A new enemy, they teleport. They also have iframes, so you know they're a really good enemy. But we'll see them again in this level and some of the other levels coming up.
It is not
they actually drop a...
Do we get to see the big play on the 80% run for this level?
Yes, because this is a level where I'm going to have to play through it more than once.
Yes, do it twice, yeah. He does it on the second time.
Specifically because the
And there's...
GR17 on this level requires taking a bomb all the way down here, which wastes so much time.
But I don't know if we mentioned it. Maybe you might have picked up on it. These items, what am I trying to say? The enemies, medium and large size, they will drop a specific item from their corpse, I guess, if we want to think about it that way. And the pop jaw medallion, these guys, you know, these blue shark guys that teleport, well, they drop a medallion that you can throw that will teleport you to its location. And we're about to see Sam use that to good effect.
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled when he grabs the thing. What is it? I don't even know what to describe it looks like.
It looks like the thing,
circly thing?
The little blue, yellow thing.
Looks like a medallion that pops.
After you put it in the popcorn machine.
Absolutely. There's nothing else it could have been called. It's just a pop medallion. That's what it is.
Yeah, the skip on that level for the 80% run, it's like it doesn't save as much time as you would think, because like getting back up isn't that slow, but it's very flashy, and it's not that hard to do.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's got some serious style points.
How magic.
I believe this is a bit of a notorious level, isn't it?
It's not that bad. It's notorious in my head at times, but that's for 80% reasons. The more important thing about this level is it does have the third power-up that we're going to be seeing here. And that is the Waylay. If you've ever wanted to punch things while flying through the air, this is the power-up for you. So basically what this power-up does is it punches things. If you're on the ground, it will punch horizontally. If you're in the air, you'll punch diagonally. And that punch makes you go very fast in those directions. And in addition to that, if you have sprint and you dash, it'll go very, very, very fast because it stacks the speed on top from the punch on top of the sprint speed you already have. And so you're going to be seeing that in a couple of these levels coming up, so that it can go very, very fast.
He's not lying. You go very, very fast. Okay. But this is a great power up. I mean, it you can destroy the hard clay, or as you might think of it, the bricks. I guess they're hard clay bricks. It breaks those, damages enemies. Again, it's a fantastic movement options. It's a fun power up, but I think it actually does. It's kind of hated on. Well, not hated on, but there's so many good power ups. I think a lot of people put it towards the bottom of the fan favorites.
It's okay. It's near the top of mine.
That was also
but, here's the skip.
Yeah, that was another level where I was able to lure an enemy out of its arena, as opposed to just actually fighting it.
You go. Yeah, and this level can be a little finicky at times too, right? With all the pop jaws bouncing around, and I believe when that luring doesn't go well too, it can be a little scary.
Yeah. Also, the beginning of this level, Slide Madly, that was where I went for that wall super jump, and I did not get it. But getting that wall super jump saves about like 5 seconds over not doing it, because I'm using it to try and get to the GR17. And not going for it, like the route I have to take is about 5 to 10 seconds slower. While if I go for it and I miss it, I only lose 2 seconds. And so if I get it, I save 5 seconds. If I don't, I only lose like 2 seconds. So it's not really that bad.
You can see some of your super speed charges here too. Yeah, I also like the strategy you have there for making those vac rats being a nice standing on top of the package, preventing them from wandering around.
Am I wrong? Have I seen someone get all the vac rats on the package before?
I know in 2's IL run he gets like 2 or 3 of them consistently.
That's just throwing it down at the road. I feel like I've seen all of them go on, but it just doesn't seem possible sometimes when I'm looking at it. So I'm not sure if I dreamed it or what.
It's definitely finicky. It's not something throwing the package down, if I can get the vac rats to land on it, that's great, but that's not usually why I'm doing it. The reason I'm doing it is usually to try and hit that switch while maintaining sprint, which only sometimes works. Because by hitting the switch with the package, I can like dash over there really quickly, and then also still keep sprint and everything like that while causing things to spin quickly. Also, this is a great level for showcasing how fast you're moving. Whoops, overshot things a little bit.
Is this the intended way to play the level?
No. If you can believe it, I'm not playing it. It is not intended to go around the side of a map with a bomb, then dash along the top of the map to get to the back. No, there's
some poor batteries there.
There's like a whole, like, you're supposed to collect all the batteries, you're supposed to like, do an auto-scrolling section that we ran through backwards so it wasn't auto-scrolling. It's a whole bunch of that
Something
stuff.
I guess you probably aren't supposed to use the armor plate to dash through the fire bar or the burning whirler, are you?
Yeah, at the beginning, that's the first skip, because there's like a little arena with 4 swoopadoops that you get a battery from. But there's no gems there, so I don't need to worry about it.
Doesn't exist for us.
Exactly.
Unnecessary. We just completely skipped past talking about the boom boxes. There are actually items in this game that play sounds and notes, and there are also percussion sounds in the boom boxes, and you can actually use that to make songs. And you can get a lot fancier than what they showcase here in the campaign. In fact, Noob Jr. has a fantastical music machine that we talked about that is similar to Specchio, old school builder. There are a couple of different ways to set up music. You can make full good sound. I can't, but some people can make good sounding songs.
And also,
yeah, you see a lot of the old school retro game songs being ported over, mostly.
And also, if you're wondering, somebody's username is Noob Jr. We're not just calling somebody Noob.
You should get Levelhead and follow his profile.
He's recreated like the entirety of Sonic 1 music and all, among other things.
Yeah. In fact, you can find Noob Jr.'s YouTube videos out there and kind of see what his levels are all about.
That pop shot looked like it was being rather rude.
Yeah, I actually specifically try and move in such a way so that it does not aggro on me. Not just because I don't want to get hit by the pop shot, but also because it has a key that I need in order to get a bug piece. Whoops, I actually didn't take that. I meant to take this. But yeah, that bug piece, if he teleports down there, getting that bug piece is like basically impossible without blurring him back up somehow. So I specifically do not want to blur him. And then also the fact that he can hit me also matters, just a lot less.
Not about death, it's about speed. I see, that time you decided to grab the insurance by grabbing the buddy there.
Yeah. I normally get it, but I was trying to be a little fast and loose. It did not pay off.
Okay, this is the key you're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
There we go, okay. That ending with the box that I do, where I basically throw it ahead of me and use it as an extra tile, it's arguably more risky than the alternative strat that I would do at the end there, which is just like a super jump. But if you're able to do it, it's also way simpler, because doing a super jump while going at very high speeds, it's a lot harder than just doing a normal super jump.
You have to do it off of the toe slider or the treadmill or whatever, the conveyor belt.
Yeah, toe slider is the official name, but it makes sense that clarification is needed.
Yeah, I don't think anyone who had not heard the name toe slider before would know what. I mean, maybe that's an intuitive name for it. I don't know.
You have context clues, because you can see stuff on screen.
I guess you stand on it with your toes. It slides.
Yeah, like most things you stand on, you do with your toes. This level's a little annoying with all of the cannons just focusing on you. It's not that bad a scheme of things, but it can get frustrating if the cycles are a little annoying, depending on when you hit checkpoints.
Yeah, it looks like you also did some pretty fancy blocking skills there too.
Yeah, when things really don't want to cooperate, I have to make liberal use of the package.
It's a great level to showcase all the different projectile types there.
Alright, I did that during practice earlier too. I never lined it up in such a way so that I hit that wall on the side of the spikes, the spawns there. But I just did it earlier today in practice and then again now for the first time.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but this level Triple Trouble is actually a level that you need to play 3 times?
Yes, it's the only level that like actually requires you to play it 3 times in order to get everything. Because in order to get all of the gems and all of the bug pieces, you have to choose the tiptoe at the start there. In order to get the GR17, you are required to pick the waylay, because you have to break those blocks. And then you have to do a 3rd run where you get the on-time delivery, which doesn't require any specific power-up. The easiest and fastest one is the zipper. And so we end up picking all 3 of the power-ups at the start there.
And this is another pretty chaotic level where I feel like you're, again, probably going a little fast and loose. Probably don't have all these bullets memorized.
I have them more memorized than you'd think, where, like, starting from the beginning, I have, like, a pretty set-in-stone path. But if things start deviating slightly, then I just kind of have to
I've played some levels that you kind of map out, and the slightest deviation when all those things are shooting at you makes a huge difference.
And that's why the zipper is the fastest, is because you only need to hit one of the switches and you can just zip straight to the package instead of doing the little as intended.
It's very difficult to cheese-proof a level from the zipper. You have to count to 4 because it zips 4 tiles. Anything 3 tiles or narrower, you can just zip right through it. And I mean, I personally have trouble counting to 4, but
Yeah.
apparently the game developers do too sometimes when they're making the level.
Yeah, I'm sure if there's any musicians out there, like, you might be okay with counting to 4, but, like, thankfully you don't have to go any higher than that.
I can't even imagine a power-up that would require you counting to 5.
Yeah, that's outside my wheelhouse.
That was a pretty good use of the bomb there, using it for mobility.
Yeah, it's not like 100% required to do it exactly the way I did it, but it is required to use that bomb in order to get the bug piece. But what we mentioned earlier, there was a level that we can still just break using the zipper. It's this one. Because you're intended to go around and getting all those batteries that you might have seen scattered about. We don't need any of those batteries except for the one we spawn with, because we can just zip straight.
Yeah, that's the second level you just ignored the batteries. Do you even pick up a battery in this run?
Yeah.
Is batteries even, like, allowed in this run?
Oh, he's about to pick up some batteries, my friend.
Yeah, I don't
I think
think
he's a couple levels away from that.
I don't think PK remembers about a certain mountain that I'm about to hike up.
Yes.
That's a rift. Did they teleport you?
They're pretty simple, but they're very useful in how they can be used and utilized.
Yeah, they're very versatile.
Yeah, they're kind of like a backbone of a lot of contraptions as well. So if you are building levels, you want to make something fancy, rifts come in handy quite a bit.
You can also use them to troll players very effectively. If you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, fun fact about rifts, they're one of the only sources of RNG that's in this game. Because this game is very deterministic most of the time. But if you were to set up a rift such that, like, there's 2 rifts that have the same ID, like, you set up a rift so that you're sending this rift to rift number 1, and there's 2 rift number 1s, it'll just pick one of the 2 at random. So that is one of the only ways you can actually manually set RNG in your levels. Thankfully, that's not in the campaign at all. I don't have to worry about the game just saying, sorry, wrong entrance. Even though...
Oh man, that would be great. I'm wishing there wasn't the campaign.
Here's the thing. It'd be great if you're watching the run. I don't know if it'd be as great if you were doing the run.
You mean speedrunners don't like RNG?
But that...
Yeah, I think... I was just gonna say, I think that's probably the most well-disguised GR17 in the game.
Yeah, that one's
that you just picked up there.
not easy to find.
I've got to say that I love the speedrun of this level.
It's grown on me.
It's chaotic.
But as I got better at it, I started liking it a lot more.
There's a lot going on in that level, and having played that level casually a couple times, watching the speedrun, it's got some interesting strategies. It's just a lot of fun to watch.
It's also worth mentioning, there is a type of RNG that I do have to deal with in this campaign run, and that's enemy RNG, and that's some enemies have like very minor variations in how they operate. Like Swoopidoops, for example, when they charge at you, like they don't charge directly at you. There's like a cone that they pick a random angle at that they charge at, and like Popjaws, the height at which they bounce, like jump up when they teleport, is also not set in stone. So like stuff like that can affect the run, but it's nothing major, thankfully.
This is the level that you were waiting for, PK.
Yep. And I feel like this level has a special place in your heart too, so I feel like you should probably introduce it.
Hollow Mountain Hike. It has a lot of really fun elements. Lots of spinning platforms, or if you are taking notes, spinny winnies. You got to collect all these batteries. You also have to collect these boxes to put on these switches. And then my favorite thing is that when you're trying to throw the batteries down here to get to the battery switch, these spinny winnies actually act as goalies. And what they do is they help you by catching the batteries before they fall to the ground.
Quotes around help.
You wouldn't want them falling straight to what you were throwing them at, so definitely very helpful. And I believe we're going to see Sam be nice and safe here, because you could get fancy on the approach to the goal here off of these spinning platforms, but honestly, it's really generally not worth it.
Yeah, and that was a full clear single run.
Yeah, that one has a lot of leeway, thankfully, because it's such an annoying level casually.
It's a level. This is also a level, though.
Oh yeah, like a lot of people will dislike Hollow Mountain Hike. I dislike Turn It On way more. Because Hollow Mountain Hike, if you fall, you just you have to climb back up. You lose a little time. This level, if you fall, sorry, you died. Go back to the one checkpoint that's in the entire level, or the start of the level, depending on when you died.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, you have to go all the way across one time on these spinning platforms, which you can see the level designer decided that some of them should be one tile wide, as they spin pretty quickly. And then when you get to the end and you get your checkpoint, these nice, wonderful cannons come on and they just start blasting you. But Sam made a pretty good work of that level there.
Yeah, that was pretty reasonable clear, I think. One reset.
Yeah, I've done better, obviously. If you can imagine, I've done better when grinding the level out by itself. But that was pretty decent overall.
Just a nice run.
That's
the level. If things start to go wrong and you start tilting, there's a lot. It's a long way from checkpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the goal.
Once you start messing that level up, it is very difficult to recover.
That was also a nice charge distance there, almost perfect. I think we were looking at the your record for this one recently, weren't we?
Yeah, we watched it on your stream earlier last week.
But yeah, you did it again, that charge. If you charge just perfectly at just the right time, you can prevent the bounce back from happening, and Sam managed to do that in this case here. So if you just stop your charge at the wall, you don't get the bounce back, and I don't know, you're going pretty high speeds there, so I'm pretty impressed by that.
I know exactly where to dash, so that works out.
He's just that good, PK.
I believe it. I believe it.
Also, we watched the IL. I developed as in something to at the end there that's a little different than I did in the IL because I didn't think of it before. and it's also
Employee.
kind of
Never mind,
surprised
I'll just
it worked
send
as
you
well
an
as it did.
email, I guess.
But there's a couple
Wow.
gems there.
I saw that. That's crazy. So Sam just, as he zipped, he threw the package up and recaught it. So he threw the package up to collect some gems and then recaught it, and then dashed away all in like, what is that? Quarter of a second?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was practicing it earlier, I didn't actually re-grab the package immediately. I had to, like, wait for it to drop back down a little bit. So I'm a little surprised that worked as well as it did. But it worked. And so I'm happy with it.
Nice clean menu skip there before Flingo swing. I love this level.
Yeah, this is a level that's very
Good
fun
level.
if you're able to get it and, like, execute on it well. But it's very frustrating if stuff goes wrong. Because it is very
And then another
precise
reset.
without a lot of room for leeway. Ah, yes. Okay.
Didn't even look like you grabbed that GR17. You did it so fast.
Yeah, that level has so little leeway I can't stick around to, like, make absolute
Oof.
sense.
I think you killed that level.
I did. I think that's the
That was beautiful.
That's the best I've ever done that level in a run. I've only gotten the on-time delivery while collecting everything like 2 or 3 times total during runs. Gotten practice a bunch, but like as you could see, like that was a really clean run and still had like only 1 second to spare.
Yeah.
So we haven't introduced the Flingo yet exactly. These are these yellow items or tiles with the 4 little, I don't know, like knobs or something.
Nubbins?
I don't know. Weird
Nubbins?
saying the word knob.
Nubbin.
They're
Nubbin.
flingers.
I don't know which is more offensive, knob or nubbin, but 4 nodules. I don't know. But anyways, usually you're grabbing items and pulling them towards you and holding onto them. The Flingos you grab and they throw you around, and they can be a lot of fun. It can be annoying if you know a player. Because what am I trying to say? If you grab it from slightly different distances, there's such a thing called max Flingo, and it can be very frustrating to try to grab at a very precise distance.
Yeah, so basically the further away you are from the Flingo, the more it flings you. And so if you're trying to get the maximum distance, you have to grab from as far away as possible, which if you mess up, you're just going to whiff and fall instead of actually grabbing it.
Often the Flingos will be above spikes or a pit, and not good. This is another satisfying level to do, and just very clean, very clean.
Yeah, you're on a roll here now. That was a full collection again.
Yeah, I'm making up for all the time is hard earlier.
The one level with the cycle.
I remember when I was trying to run the game, that level can really, there's 4 different like challenge sections, and you just like first tried them all. You did some nice little skips. That level, I think it took me like 8 minutes or something embarrassing to clear the first time I tried it. I'm sure that surprises everyone.
Yeah, that is not.
Not an
this
easy
level,
casual level.
no. This level introduces the flip whips. Those little pink guys that are sticking out their tongue and doing backflips. They're probably, I don't know. I find them one of the more challenging enemies. They got some invincibility frames that always catch me off guard, despite playing this game for a long time. And they're beating up Sam right now, so I feel validated.
Yeah, this level, it only is specifically difficult to do this level like this if that guy starts attacking before you drop down, essentially. Because I time things so that if I drop on him, I get a hit and then he attacks. But sometimes he just decides to attack early for absolutely no reason, and he just hits me immediately, which is very frustrating.
And an interaction that may seem not super intuitive is if you punch into their tongue, you die. Tongue of steel, you know?
Tongues are the deadliest part of the body.
I'm not gonna follow that up with any number of jokes.
Just talking about the original Dragon Ball, I don't know what you're thinking about.
Me either, honestly, but liking it.
Yeah, this level is normally not that bad in order to get into the on-time delivery, but if that one flip earlier since it didn't want to cooperate, I had to run through it a second time, unfortunately. And now we get to one of the most infamous levels casually, Nope Cart.
Yes. This level has stumped a few people in their attempts to 100% the game.
It's like, even casually, I didn't think it was that bad. Like, it wasn't easy, obviously, but like, this level never really stuck out to me, but like, you're on a moving platform that you don't control, with tons of fire firing everywhere, all over the place, and a ton of missiles here at the end. It's understandable why some people would find it, at the very least,
I think it's one of the only levels that does not give you breathing time. That's probably why. As you can see, there's not a single spot where... Yeah.
Projectiles, yeah. There are a lot of hazards flying in your face. I think the bug pieces, in particular, are pretty frustrating for casual players to go for.
Yeah, it's like earlier I mentioned, like, that one bug piece was like the second hardest one to get in the same run as everything else. This level has the hardest one, because that one at the beginning there, you might have noticed that it's like, oh, there's two separate paths. One has gems and one has a bug piece. How would you even get them all in one go? The answer is, during a 100% run, you don't. It's not worth trying for, because it's pretty difficult, but like...
It's possible, but definitely not worth trying for.
It's very, very precise, and you have almost no leeway, because the platform does not stop. And so, as a result, it's like...
won't stop.
If you wanted to see a video of it, obviously the IL does that. That's how you need to do that in order to get it right. But it is not something that is worth going for in full run, because it's so precise.
Okay, so this level here, it's like a puzzle. Obviously, you know the answer to the puzzle already. Oh, I love watching the throwing game that's going to come up here in a minute. The throwing precision.
I've messed up that first one recently, where I just dropped it a pixel too early and it doesn't hit the switch. But thankfully...
Oh yeah, there it is. You got it. You found it. It's okay.
It worked.
Yeah. Looking good.
Yeah, now we have a nice little gimmick level where we have to drop enemies into the little bucket down below with tons of obstacles trying to stop me from doing it. But thankfully, once you know, like, a pattern and, like, a cycle to follow, it's not that bad. But that's another
It's
level.
more fun to watch someone who doesn't know a pattern, because the enemies just be flying everywhere.
Yeah, try to do that level casually, it is incredibly
Yeah, I guess you can liken it to one of those like claw machines almost. Like it feels like it's rigged against you.
Yeah, imagine a claw machine, but there's just constantly things moving around to keep you from actually hitting the thing in the first place, let alone picking it up. Like somebody's
I had
just
to
reaching their
recently
arm
explain
to slam
the claw machines being rigged to my wife's little sister. If you are not up to date on it, those arms really are not strong enough to pick up those things. I don't recommend you drop money in there, okay? I gave her $5 so she could play it at Six Flags. And it came with a long speech about how they're rigged. And then she lost the $5 to the machine. Not Levelhead related, but just some advice for everyone. You know, everyone can use that. You know?
The new LPT of the day.
Would now be a good time for me to mention a much better place to drop your money?
Absolutely.
Yeah. A much better place to drop your money is to the charity that we're supporting. So Indiethon Fall Follies is raising money for Caldwell's children, and they provide practical and emotional support for disabled children and their families across the United Kingdom. With your support, they provide services and equipment to children who need them, including powered wheelchairs, therapy tricycles, and car seats, as well as sports equipment for talented disabled athletes. They have also started their own brand new, first-of-its-kind, in-house autism service from Caldwell International Children's Centre in Staffordshire, UK. Visit their website at www.caldwellchildren.org to learn more about their amazing programs. And of course, if you make donations, we have some fantastic prizes. I will drop a link to where you can check out those prizes in the chat right now.
So this level, also another gimmick level. The whole gimmick of this level is there's enemies all over the place. Yeah, the level gives you like every possible tool you could use ever to try and kill all of them. But if you kill a single enemy, you die because spikes spawn all over the place. So the whole gimmick of this level is just navigating around the enemies and trying not to kill them. It's a very fun level, but it's not easy to be able to get through quickly.
Yeah, normally your all the hitboxes are rigged against you in this case, because in this game they're pretty good about making the enemy hitboxes that kill you a little smaller and the ones that you can hit a little bigger in your favor, but it works against you in that one.
This game is pretty consistent with the design philosophy of player forgiveness. The negative things tend to be a little bit, like the spike hitboxes are a little smaller. There's coyote frames that, so-called like Wile E. Coyote, or a few seconds after you walk off the platform, you can still jump. All these nice little things. And then good things have bigger hitboxes, so it's easier to collect them or things like that. But then sometimes it's funny when you use things in an unintended way. These good hitboxes now, they're just that much worse because they're so generous usually. And so, like PK was saying, that level is kind of funny. It works against you in many ways.
But now we have the next power-up you're going to see during this run.
Ripcord.
That is the Ripcord. The Ripcord is basically your ability that modifies your jump. And in this case, it's a jetpack type sort of thing, where you hit A, or whatever your jump button is, if you're not using like a standard controller, and it just boosts you straight up into the air. And if you hold the power-up button, you hover down slowly. That's basically all there is to it. It's pretty simple, but it's got a lot of versatility to it.
I think the last run I commentated for you, I tried to compare it to Cape in Mario, and now I'm just like, I'm looking at that and I just feel so embarrassed that I ever did such a thing.
That is the level.
You're in the air, and that's the comparison.
That's as close as it gets. I was trying, man. I was trying. Okay, they both fly, okay?
That level I just finished right there is the level we mentioned earlier where you can go under the map, and Ripcord is really the only reliable way to get back up from under the map, because it has that barrier in the middle of the level. They have to open up using a couple batteries, but by going under the map, you can finish the level much quicker. But obviously we have a bunch of stuff we need to collect, so that's not useful to us.
It should also be mentioned that it is an extremely precise trick. You have virtually no leeway to mess that trick up. I think it's like literally a couple like pixels or frames of leeway there.
It's one of those tricks where I get it like 1 in every like 8 to 10 runs maybe, and I get it way more often than most people.
Yeah, it looks like this is one of those levels where if you're a little timed off, you have a very different feeling run, dropping down between those fire cannons.
Oh yeah, this is one of my least favorite levels at now. It used to not be that bad, but like, you mess up one tiny thing, everything's all off with the cycles. And then on top of that, the ending is just frustrating. Because I've lost a lot of time to the ending on this level before.
Because every time you reset, it does reset some of the canon behavior as well, correct? So that's why you're not using the buddy.
Well, the reason the buddy isn't that useful is because I'm starting from a different position than I would be if I just played the level from the start. Like, as you can see here. Just go ahead and finish this. I don't have to worry. The any percent version of this is a little bit more consistent for me. So I'm just gonna do that.
It's one of those levels that it's almost worth just finding a good timing than trying to avoid all those fireballs, especially if you're bad at avoiding fireballs. Like I am, not like Sam. Sam's very good at avoiding them. But
I've slightly messed up the 80% timing, so I'm gonna have to. I was gonna have to wing it a little bit, but I'm gonna restart now because I died a couple times. This level also doesn't have much in the way.
I mean, if you're trying to eyeball these fireballs flying back and forth, it can be very difficult, but once you get a nice timing, and I assume that's this restarting is, you know, you got a timing in your mind or body or heart or whatever.
That's what it's supposed to look like. Just pretend I got that like a minute and a half ago, and just erase that from your mind.
Done.
And didn't get killed by any stray bullets there too, so you got it.
Those bullets at the end, sometimes the game just wants to eat your input and pretend like, oh, you jumped off of this bullet, right? That's what you want to do. You didn't want to boost afterwards, did you? And sometimes because I can just lose a bunch of time.
Sting Like a Bee is a great air brawler level with bombs and swoop-a-doops.
And Sam makes it look so easy.
Yeah, using some setups that you can do for like an 80% run level, it is very satisfying. But it's a little hard to do those kinds of setups when you also have to go around, you know, collecting the little bits and bombs that the game spawns for collectibles. But
the whole throwing the bomb at the swoop-a-doop that you lured towards the hard clay or the bricks, it blew my mind when I saw that happen, because normally you kill the swoops and then you have to wait for the bomb to explode, but you can just combine all of that, kill two birds with one bomb, if you will.
So you got to see a prime example of my timing getting messed up in the GR17 animation.
Ah, that's what that little snag there was. As you got yeah, so these rockets here, they operate a lot like other things, but as you can see, they have big explosive radius, and they don't kill GR18, but they send GR18 flying, as well as blow up, well, just about everything else in the game as well.
Yeah. I always thought it was kind of funny that these things don't damage you.
I would almost rather that they did. At times.
It's a nerf explosion. A nerf explosion.
Well, then you couldn't have all these fun rocket setups if they damaged you.
Yeah, you're right, we wouldn't have them. Instead, we just have to go through the level normally and not have to worry about them at all.
No, you don't want that.
And there's a good example of using the bomb to get a boost up, and also managing the trajectory of that bomb. Because as you mentioned earlier, they are a little finicky because their radius, or what do you call it, their angle, their trajectory angle is very particular at times.
Yeah, and I did some tricky grabs there to get some stuff that I'm technically not supposed to grab when I did, because if you grab around a block and your grabber extends past it and there's an item on top of it, like, you might think that, like, oh, you just hit the block, you wouldn't be able to grab it, but basically the grabber can, like, hug the top of a corner, and you're able to grab some things you're not supposed to because of that.
Maybe it's just because I'm Canadian, but I feel like it's like using a hockey stick to get something off a very high reaching place.
Don't worry, other places do have hockey. They'll understand the reference.
Yeah, but did your childhood have fishing for stuff with the hockey stick?
No, it did not.
I mean, speak for yourself. I live in Texas. We don't have hockey.
Yeah, Texas, well known for
I
its
mean-
hockey.
No, it doesn't exist.
That's not true. You have a hockey team.
Yeah, we do, and they actually are pretty well known.
That was nice. You actually got through that level without much incident, and I know that's another one that can be a little finicky there.
Yeah, the previous level right in this rank, it's because it's basically an auto-scroller for most of it, you know, 1 or 2 mistakes can cost you a lot of time, but thankfully, it's not that bad once you know what you're doing on it. Like, remember where all the jumps are, you have to do. So it's pretty safe once you put in the time to learn it really well, but until you get to that point. Right, now we have, actually my least favorite level of the campaign.
Non-sarcastically?
No sarcasm, actually.
This is such a frustrating level when it goes wrong, because it feels like you didn't do anything wrong.
Alright, this is not looking good.
You're relying on these look cannons and the enemy behavior to line up in such a way that you get what you need to, and this flapjack is just did not want to cooperate.
If you want
Yeah, that
another-
flapjack went to ninja school.
If you want another reason why I don't like flapjacks, just look at this level.
Hey, we found GR17.
Those flapjacks in that one section are very, very frustrating, because once the Lizumis are dead, it's almost impossible to actually properly line up and hit them, and you just kinda
Yeah, it is
pray.
infinitely easier to hit the Lizumi and use the residual blast to kill the flapjack than it is to use the rocket to hit the flapjack directly, as you saw. Can you blame them though? I mean, I would try to avoid getting shot with a rocket.
You see, yes, it's their fault.
How dare they?
Now this would be a pretty interesting level. I think Sam's going to... Oh, you're actually... No. Are you going to actually try and avoid stuff on the any percent?
Since I have to get all the collectibles, I can't skip nearly as much as this level as I normally would.
Yeah. Sam likes to ignore the whole gimmick of this level on the any percent run, but looks like you're actually following true and avoiding some of those eye switches that would then set off a whole bunch of traps.
Yeah, Grand Theft Grotto, which is in the running for the best name to level in the entire campaign.
It's in the running as the best level in the entire campaign, as far as I'm concerned.
I just like specifically calling it.
Definitely, that's fair.
Like, I do actually like this level. As well.
Pretty good level. There's some pretty frustrating parts.
Oh yeah, those, if you're
In my
not good at them,
opinion.
those one-tile flurries that I did earlier are really something. But I've grinded this
No,
level
I'm
enough
thinking
where I get
about-
really good at them.
The flapjack after the Lizumi here is can be problematic.
Yeah, if you want reason number 2 why I hate flapjacks is this specific flapjack on this level.
And the funny thing, like, he's not necessarily even so deadly all the time, but it can be hard to avoid the slurp while you're killing him.
Yeah, it's a lot of my
Funnily
problems
enough,
with him
and-
come from when I was grinding the IL for this level, because it's like, oh yes, I finally killed him, and like I'm on a decent run. Oh, I grabbed the slurp by accident. Now the entire run's dead. because I lost
Employee
5
skipping
seconds.
training seminars. You're a real go-getter.
Exactly.
And there's another skip right there. Little, what do you call it? Map warp.
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
last
you-
map warp of the run.
Should be said, you only had to play Grand Theft Grotto one time. I think last time I watched a run, you had to redo that level, so
Yeah.
it went well.
Yeah, messing that level up is very bad because it loses over like 2 minutes. Because it's such a long level.
But it's funny, the any percent version of the ending has you just fall straight to the goal. And I'm always confused because I'm like wondering why they put the ending section in. 'Cause you just literally fall to the goal, and there's all these bullets that are supposed to be shooting at you. But when you're collecting the gems, it all makes sense.
Oh, yeah, when you're getting the gems, that section is actually really frustrating.
Right.
But enough about Granted.
This is the new. Yeah, let's talk about Rebound. Sorry, I stole your thunder. You should have said. I should have let you say that.
That's fine. As long as it gets said.
This is the best power up in the game. Okay.
Yeah, because if you ever just wanted to shoot your face at your enemies, that's what this power up lets you do.
Yeah, so, I mean, really specifically, when you shoot your face, it sends off a bouncing, like, rubber ball style projectile, but also sends GR18 backwards as well. So it's a 2-for-1 power up, and I'd say it's probably one of the technically hardest power ups to get a hang of. But yeah, it can
be very tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can be lining up a shot and then forget that it's going to shoot you backwards and send yourself into something. Likewise, if you're trying to move somewhere, then you send a bounceable face in another direction. It can throw you off a little bit too. But it's a pretty fun and interesting one. You can see Sam's covering a lot of ground with every usage of that face.
So much movement's available. You know, it's just such a fun power up.
And in addition to the bounceable faces, bouncing around, that also includes the fact that you can bounce off of them, which is useful for platforming if you're planning for it. If you forget that's a thing, it can get in the way very quickly and be very frustrating.
You control yourself, definitely.
Yeah, and then another...
they also damage enemies. I think we saw that. Your face is, apparently damages enemies.
Yeah, and another thing to mention...
Is it actually his face?
Yeah, it's in the cutscene, it literally says you shoot out your face. That's why it's like the beta name for it was the Face Blaster.
I mean, you shoot out your face, but you don't shoot your face.
Same thing.
No, I'm just thinking very deeply about this lore.
Yeah, but something else interesting about the Rebound is you only get 2 shots at a time, and it starts recharging after the first shot and not the second shot. And so it's possible to time it in such a way so that when those little sweat drops or whatever
sweat beads,
yeah, those appear over your head to tell you that it's recharged. If you time it properly, you can fire the second shot from your volley, have everything recharge while you're in midair, and then immediately fire another 2 shots.
Getting an extra shot, essentially.
Yeah, and it requires some tight timing, but if you're able to do it, I'm gonna use that principle a lot in this level here.
He actually did another nice, 1.5 shot clear, but an intentional restart for the GR17. So another pretty solid map there.
Here comes the second full auto scroll level here.
Yeah.
Much shorter, but has some trickier parts.
It's really, really difficult to get everything in one go. And you might think, oh, there's a GR17 on that level. What happened to it? Why didn't you get it? Dang. Alright, I'm not getting this quick enough. There we go. Took me a couple tries. But there's something you can do that we call a wrong turn. What that means is it's possible to enter a level, because if you might have noticed, the wrong name displayed when I tried to enter that level right there. So what that does is you enter a level and then move with very specific frame timing, so that the game says, oh, you're entering this level, and then it also thinks you moved, and the game's like, oh, you're entering this level, right? Oh, but I already started putting you in this other level. And so some of the data from the level that you're supposed to enter gets loaded, while other data from the level you're trying to move to gets loaded, and as a result you can share collectible status on some of these levels. And so what I was
about to say, did you just collect GR17?
Exactly. So I collected the GR17
oh my God.
on this level I'm in right now, and it counted for the previous level. Because because the GR17 in that previous level takes like 15 seconds to get to, and it's pretty frustrating to get if I mess things up and I have to, like, I don't get the on-time delivery or something. And so this one takes like 5 seconds to get to from the start of the level. And so if I don't want to do the level a second time, I can just load up a different level and get it way faster.
It's incredible.
It's a little finicky, like, actually getting the trick to happen. That's why it took me a couple tries to actually get it.
Yeah, is it the only spot you use it in the run? That trick?
Yes, with air quotes around yes. Ideally, with the way I do levels, I wouldn't actually use it anywhere in the run, but there are levels where it would be useful for with more practice. Because I also would have used it on hover stop if things had turned out differently. But instead, this is the only level I'm going to be using it during this run. But that was the second to last level. This level coming up now is the last level. I'll mention that time stops when I skip the final cutscene, so we still got another like 2 or 3 minutes for that. I will obviously call it out, but we're very, very close to the end of the run here. Assuming I didn't miss anything, which I don't think I did.
These last 2 levels are like legendary levels. Second to last level is a troll level. And this last level is just a gauntlet that throws everything you've seen before at you. And we actually see more of the level than you would in the 80% run. Again, a common theme.
Yeah, because this tiptoe section here, it doesn't exist at 80% because you can just skip the entire thing.
I have trouble remembering what this section looks like.
It's a funny level because whenever people come in asking about, it's like, oh yeah, I'm having some like trouble with the on-time delivery on this last level. Do you have any tips? Everyone will just say, learn how to super jump or something similar, and just do the skips instead of actually doing the level as intended.
Yeah. Yeah, that is actually, unironically though, the best advice to give for getting the on-time delivery here.
I was able to do it casually without any fancy tech or anything. I got this level casually while doing all of the challenges in 3 minutes. But it was not easy.
Yeah, and this is probably the most gems in a level too, eh?
Actually,
268?
I think Mad Backrat next had
Mad Backrat rest in this.
I think it had 200.
Right.
Did that have more? Oh, it's 70,
It had
okay.
like 280 something, I think.
This level
Blew
is,
my mind. I would no idea.
This level's by far the longest level in the campaign, though.
Yes.
Even the IL for this level is the longest IL, with the record being like 1 minute and 6 or 7 seconds, I think. Something like that.
Probably one of the only couple of them to pass the 1 minute mark by any means.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's only 2 ILs where the 80% run is over a minute. As you can tell, this was not intentional. I did not mean for this to happen. I am not feeling too confident about getting the on time on the delivery anymore.
Yeah, bumpers do this sometimes here. Sometimes it will eventually shoot him back in, and sometimes it will not.
Have you tried shaking your Xbox? Sometimes it helps it get loose.
I did not try that. I should
There is an anti-tilt, function there. You can detect when you're trying to tilt the game. You know,
Oh.
that's a pinball joke.
very close. I might have to do this level a second time. Which is very unfortunate, because like I said, it's the longest level in the campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I messed up anyway, so I would have had to do it even if I wasn't that close, but...
Get the full view again.
So yeah, like I said, not a level that I like to do more times, but you get to see the 80% run of it at least, so I get to go in style.
There are some nice skips that we were talking about. Get to see him skip the entire tiptoe section. with a well-placed super jump, and then you will go for the zipper skip at the end.
Of course I'm going to do the zipper ending.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
It's the only proper way to finish the zipper cheese.
So,
Tribute.
it's very nice of you to show this stuff off again for
Yeah,
us.
that was intentional, right?
I know you see it.
Okay, I went for the fast.
Heart of gold.
Heart of fuchsia, because that's the color we have for the run.
that's right.
Yeah, I tried to go for the fast strat there with the bomb. Because basically, anytime you can use a bomb, it's going to be faster to try and throw it as soon as possible, so for it to explode. But that requires some precise throws and positioning, so it can easily mess you up. Also, I mentioned earlier, that is the shell jump that I said would be near the end of the run, if you were still very curious about what they looked like. This is also another level that I use the pop jump in.
Here's some fancy shenanigans.
It only saves like a second or two, but I can use it, so I'm going
Even these, the rebound buddy thing here at the end is also some fancy footwork. Alright.
Alright, and time is going to stop very shortly. I have one more vendor and one more cutscene to get through. Alright, and I did not miss anything, so we're going to see the top rate go to 100%.
I love the unnecessary, but entirely necessary final zip into the goal room.
Alright,
Ender credits.
and yeah, that was time.
These cutscenes are great.
Yeah, these, and we don't get to see the credits, unfortunately, because it's fastest to skip them, but that, you might have noticed right when I enter the credits, it ticked 100%. And that's the run. So yeah, I want to...
There it is.
Yeah, I want to thank Indiethon for letting me show off this game and this run. This is I like this run a lot, arguably more than any percent, but that's partially just because I have more spots to save time on. But yeah, I'm always happy to be able to show this off. If anybody's ever curious about Levelhead, it's available on almost every platform under the sun, except for PlayStation. But, you know, if anybody wanted to ever try and pick up this game, either casually or try and speedrun it, the community gathers in the Butterscotch Shenanigans, which is the game's developer. They have a Discord server, and that's where we gather. It can be found on speedrun.com page, or even in-game, because they do link it there. But yeah, that's where we gather to talk about this game and any runs we do and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. If you guys have any final words you want to say.
You guys got to have some final words. I know it.
Oh, I got all sorts of words. This is a great community. These campaign levels are great, but the community also, there's just such creativity. Like we said, we mentioned, the Sonic music levels. There's a small Kaizo community here. The tech is insane. There's so many movement options. You can really get into there. If you like precision, there's precision levels. There's good casual levels. You got to get this game. You gotta come check out what it's all about.
Yeah, and as Floart's showing off there, we've got emotes. We've got lots of emotes.
And the memes. We have all the memes.
Yeah. I did forget to say, if you do want to watch more of this game, even if you don't pick it up, I do speedruns of this game pretty much every week over on my Twitch page, twitch.tv/IllegallySam. There's always people streaming this game as well if you wanted to watch more of the casual side of things. But I think that's all I have to say. So I think we're good to go here.